Surprisingly, that skater was walking away with a smile on his face, possibly because that guy who approached them and told him to get out of here, as you could see there, is brandishing a gun. I'm not sure if that's brandishing, is kind of, securely holding it like a teddy bear. But still, he decided to try to intimidate with a gun there because of skaters sliding down rails and stuff. Anyways, he's spoken to media since, and he thinks he's the victim. We're gonna get to his thoughts about it first. But folks did speak to these skaters to find out exactly what happened. This one TikToker spoke to them. Let's see what they had to say.
Corbin said he and his friends were making a video at a church that no one was at. And then that guy drove by and was like, "You can't be here, get out of here." And they were like, "Okay." And he's like, "Leave." And they're like, "You leave. If you don't like us being here, feel free to call the cops." And then he drove around and parked and got out of his vehicle and pulled a handgun on them and threatened to shoot them. He and his friends decided to not push it and to just gather their things and leave. And when they got in their vehicle to do so, that guy followed them. He said they drove around for a while with him following after them and them not knowing what he was gonna do until he finally stopped. Fortunately, by the next day, he and his friends were like, "Yeah, this really isn't okay," and contacted police.
This is when craziness started happening, because the local news station then went out there to do a follow-up to this whole thing, because they're like, wow, this is random. Some guy with a gun shows up and brandishes it at some folks that are skating. And they went to maybe just do a story, maybe to get the background of the situation, to discuss what's happening. But crazy enough, that same guy in his Prius, he was around yet again, so they got a chance to talk to him. This is what he had to say to them. They said, oh, sorry, was it not, did I say Prius? Apparently it was a Tesla, the same car. Both drivers of Tesla and Prius drive the same way. Anyways, continuing on. They asked him, they said, "You were the guy that pulled out a gun on these skateboarders on Saturday because they were being defiant?" That's what Bernardo Elion was asked. Defiant when they kept telling him to just leave, is what he replied. "I was going to go over there and say, just stop right there, just go, leave. And you keep going and they say, yes, we're leaving." Elon said that he's not affiliated with the church that they were on, that's adjacent to his to the indecent scene. He's pointing out. He said that he just wanted the skaters off the property and went on defense in case things escalated. So he was worried about things escalating. He's the one who showed up with the gun. Let's remember that part. Continuing, when he was that defiant, I decided to pull out my gun, not to shoot him, because I know when to use a gun. So apparently when to use a gun, according to this guy, is to try and intimidate, to say you're gonna shoot someone, because the other person has no idea whether or not you're gonna shoot them or not, but I know, so that's really what matters. How you know if they didn't have a weapon? Because people would think, it's time for me to defend myself. Then we have a shootout. Sounds like a good idea, bro. Anyways, he wasn't arrested either, but charges were filed over the incident and his weapon has been seized, at least that much has happened. Let's go to this first part. I want to see what you first think about the madness happening here and the fact that this guy thinks he can parade around this church lot and say, "Get out of here," and hold his gun up like this.
It was some weird hold. I don't know what he was doing, man. But clearly he went on the special at the Tesla dealership where you get a Tesla and you get a free gun at the same time. They don't teach you how to use it, but it comes with a really lengthy manual. But clearly he didn't read the manual. I don't get why this guy put matters in his own hands, because he had a sidearm. So suddenly he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna save the world from skaters." They were doing their own business. They're minding their own business, having a good time. They weren't harming nobody. They weren't doing anything crazy. Why did this guy suddenly go over and try to escalate things that weren't even needed to be escalated? That doesn't make any sense to me, man.
He has nothing else to do. I went to a batting cage one time with my kid, and we were gonna go back. There's this long walkway before you get to the cages, and there's this not long, but significant long stairway, 10 steps or so, with railings. And these guys were filming at the bottom. I was like, what are they filming? Because you couldn't see the depths of the walkway. As soon as I approached the walkway, this guy comes shooting out with his skateboard, slides down the railing, and they're trying to get video. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know you guys were there, my bad. And you know what I did after that? I went around them. It was pretty easy. In fact, I did this one thing. It was called walking. I walked around him and I said, hey kid, come with me. We're gonna walk around and then we'll go to the cages. And you know what those guys skating did? They said, oh, thanks. And they kept skating and then everyone's fine. No guns were drawn. No one was threatened to be shot. No one was shot. In fact, it was really, really easy. I haven't even thought about it since, gotta be honest, because it was not a big deal. Which shows the whole point. They make these things a big deal.
Ridiculous. I
was annoyed that they had skaters shooting up and down the railing, but who cares?
I mean, maybe the deal wasn't up there. The Tesla deal, the free gun with the Tesla. Maybe it wasn't up for you at that time. If it was then, if it was happening then, I'm sure you would have, maybe.
I'm working towards it. I mean, I only drive a Ford right now. Maybe we can upgrade to the Tesla with the sidearm.
Let's go.
Why not?